Very nice win, but we've got to march on. No real time to celebrate. Hello, everyone. This is LAFC Plus. He is Mario Ruiz. I'm Dave Denholm. Mario, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It was a nice bounce back win, like you said, of course. And DeRozan got his first goal in the black and gold shirt, which was awesome. But the real star last night was Hello Kitty. I mean, Hello Kitty was just like taking so many pictures. It
Sure.
was like 22,000 pictures, had to be, because everybody wanted a photo and just was walking all around the stadium. What impact Hello Kitty made on BMO Stadium, and the atmosphere, it was buzzing. People were there early, so it was a great atmosphere. I'm just glad that the boys were able to reward all those fans with a win like that.
And the
Here's how it
referee has
sounded.
said, I have seen enough. LAFC win. 3-0 the final score from BMO Stadium. A comprehensive victory over Colorado Rapids.
3 plus, LAFC
Yeah.
plus and 3 plus, right?
Absolutely. 3-0 the final. Sometimes those games are hard to call, actually, with the early red
Yeah.
card. Changed everything, 6
Changed
minutes.
everything.
Sometimes they actually get bogged down. And frankly, the first half was a little slow after the red card because neither team wanted to make a mistake then. Obviously LAFC
Yeah.
with the man advantage knows they're going to probably wear down Colorado. The Rapids are not going to come out too quick being down a man. They don't want to open up. So first 15, 20 minutes after the red card can be very kind of like ho-hum. And it kind of was, but then it picked up, of course. And once any goal is scored, mayhem ensues usually. And of course, LAFC get an early second half goal. That was a big one. That was a great team goal. Nathan Ordaz
Yeah.
gets credit. There'll be no assist because he puts in a rebound. But that was a
Right.
very good team goal. The setup, the initial save was good, actually, by Nico Hansen. The young goalkeeper had a pretty good game, actually, for Colorado. A couple of good saves. But he did spill it. And, I don't think there was much he could do about that. And Ordaz bangs it in. And then later, of course, as you said, DeRozan gets his first, a very nice setup goal. Another good team goal, it was just a good win. Again,
Yeah.
I don't know that you can take a ton from it because of the red card,
Yeah.
Mario.
Yeah, that was the
it
game
just-
changer for sure. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
the red card just early on in the match, when you go down a man, just 5, 6 minutes into the game, and you have an entire, like 85 plus minutes to go. It took LAFC a little while to break that up. They were, packing it in on the defensive side. So LAFC had to really ping the ball around the outside of the box for a while. I was
True.
getting a little impatient. But finally Denis did break through. He split the two defenders there and got that PK. So yeah, and he took advantage of that one.
Yeah, and once that first one went in, I thought it was pretty much
Yeah.
LAFC were going to cruise, and they did. And Colorado battled, to their credit. I mean, it's tough when you're down a man that early. It changes everything. But really, LAFC is not a team where you have to be thinking like, "Ooh, what are you going to take from this?" We can't really take much from this. It doesn't matter. 3 points. You take the 3 points. We know who
what
we
you
are.
take is sixth place in the West. That's all you take
Exactly.
right now. Just
Absolutely.
1 point under Seattle now, which is in fifth place. So slowly but surely, just climbing the table. It's always a big win when you get the 3 wins at home like you're supposed to. And then with another chance to earn 3 more big points right away this upcoming Saturday, that's how you do it. That's how you climb the table, which is much needed right now for LAFC.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It is the beginning of a rough stretch, certainly. We know this. 5 games starting last night in 17 days, beginning with that game on Wednesday evening at BMO. Of course, the next one's at BMO, which helps, but we may see some rotation. We don't know yet. You might see a little rotation. Again, 4 more games in the next 16 days for LAFC, so you're going to have to rotate at some point. We'll see when Steve Turundolo and the staff and the players themselves decide when that's going to be overall. We'll see what the player.
And who doesn't like to rotate is Denis, of course. Denis
my
not going to want
goodness.
to rotate, but it was good to see him get that 50th goal of the regular season in his career. So that was awesome. And he was involved with so many plays, probably all the attacking plays. He was involved somehow, impacting the game. And that's
Yep.
that's what you want from your talisman, just like that. And, in games, whether it's just like a regular season game like this one, you want your star player to be, making an impact, putting his mark on the match, and even all the way to playoff matches, FIFA Club World Cup matches. Because when they don't, it's felt, So it was good for Denis to do his thing, and hopefully he keeps doing his thing because we're going to need Denis to be the star of every single match.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, and we talk about it a lot, of course. I got a call from my old man, my father, who diehard sports fan. He's born and raised in the Cleveland, Ohio area where I'm from. He still lives in that area, and he still follows Cleveland teams, and he's a diehard sports fan, knows everything about every sport except for soccer. He's getting into it now because of LAFC. And
I love that. Yeah,
he really is. He's really bought in, but he still asks questions sometimes. And he was like, look, it was 3-0, kind of later in that game, or even before, why did they take the knee out when the subs started coming in? And I'm like, he just refuses, basically. And he's like, yeah, that's true. He never.
He has a point, though. It's a great question. It's a smart question.
He kind of realized, though, even after he asked it, I was like, well, he never comes out. So like, yeah, I guess he doesn't. Like Denis Bouanga, we know, will jet set around the world and play the next day, let alone, playing 90 minutes at home. Yeah, when Denis knows he can drive home on the same night, you're not getting him out of a game. I mean, it's just not the way it works with Denis Bouanga. He does get his 9th, as Mario said, 50th goal in MLS. Big congratulations. Some of his teammates were doing that, congratulating him. Obviously, second all time in LAFC scoring, just the second player to reach 50 goals. We won't do a trivia question on who's the only one before Denis Bouanga, because that's that one's pretty that's pretty easy to figure out, needless to say. So congratulations to Denis, and no surprise. I mentioned it even in the pregame. If Denis Bouanga doesn't score, LAFC have 0 wins in those games. Yeah, like in MLS, like that just. Now, that doesn't mean if he does score, they're automatically going to win. We know that. I'm not trying to reverse the stat here. But when he doesn't score, LAFC does not win. Like they have not picked up a victory without a goal from Denis Bouanga in the particular match. Now, last night's turns out to be another game winner. That's his 3rd of the season, and he's now got 9 goals, slowly climbing up, and really, as importantly, 5 assists. And he could have maybe, not that he could have had some last night, but he put in a few good crosses that, Ordaz got on the end of one, Mario, that missed by inches, stuff like that, where he just couldn't quite connect. But he's really, I think, almost consciously picking up more assists and more assist opportunities, even in years past. I mean, 5 already, like we said.
He's being really creative with the passing as well. I noticed that yesterday. He did a couple no-look quick passes. Some of them worked. Some of them didn't work. But the ones that did work, they barely squeaked by, and they started something special. They started an attacking play. So I like that from Denis. He's flashy with the scoring and all that, but can also make the flashy passes, which is very creative from him, which I love to see.
Yeah, it actually led to a goal last night. He kind of had that Deke no-look pass to Hollingshead making the run, and it led to a goal.
Exactly.
Of course, he doesn't get an assist for that necessarily, but, those are the things that he's setting up. Absolutely, and it was a great play, no doubt about it. But
it was good to see Javido DeRosen too get himself a goal, because he was working so hard all night long. He was all over the pitch, came close, like we were talking about on that goal from the second goal. That was his. It was a rebound.
It was his shot.
To Ordaz. Exactly. Yeah. Rebound for Ordaz, but he finally got his own goal, and I had a chance to talk to DeRozan after the match, after the final whistle. Here's my chat with him.
Happy for your first goal for the Black and Gold. You were working all night for that goal. I know you were. Describe it. How did it all happen?
Yeah, I was working all night for this goal. Mentally, it's tough when you miss a chance or you lose the ball. You want to score, and it was a real relief on my body that I scored a goal, and now it's up to more.
After your first goal, how would you say you're fitting in here with Steve Cherundolo's style here with the Black and Gold?
Of course, you need time to adapt. Me also, but as I said yesterday, we don't have a lot of time. So I'm happy that I scored a goal today, and hopefully this is only the first of many.
It is a tough stretch here of jam-packed games all month long. How important was it to pick up the 3 points here and start it off with a big win like this?
No, I think very important because last week we lost. It was also a very important game, and this game was important to get back to the top as well. And it was a really important 3 points today.
You quickly got to change focus to FC Dallas on Saturday. What's it going to take to stay sharp in these games as they come quickly?
Yeah, in football, in the sports, when you have victory, it's only for a short time of period you can enjoy of it, because in the next couple of days we already have the next game, and we have to focus on this to get the 3 points as well.
Congrats on the goal. Congrats on the win, Javito.
And it's
Great
so good to
goal.
get that first goal out of the way,
Absolutely.
right? You don't want that to linger where you're talented attacking player, and that first goal doesn't come for a while and it starts messing with your head. So it was good to get that first goal out of the way for Javito.
Yeah, and as we were talking about there, as I was listening to him, I had to go back to the actual official stats, and I got my deke passes confused. Ryan Hollingshead, I think, delivered it to Denis, who then delivered it to Tillman. Denis actually did get an assist on that DeRozan goal that he was just talking about. So that's his sixth assist, 9 goals, 6 assists. And people forget, he had 20 goals the last 2 seasons. He had 11 assists, Denis Bouanga, last season alone. And coming off of 2023, where he had 20 goals and 0 assists, he really picked up his game last season, 20 goals, 11 assists. And now this season, 9 goals, 6 assists, leading the team in that category. So, both categories, obviously. And just impressive. But it was an impressive team win, of course. 6 shutout. Hugo Lloris actually made a couple of nice saves, despite being, up a man where you wouldn't think he would have to get too much work. There was a couple of good saves late in the game. I thought everybody played well, Mario. It's just time to turn the page on it, though. It's one of those matches where, great, we got it, absolutely did what you had to do, and it's almost a perfect setup where you do turn the page quickly, because there's not that much to gloat about. You had a man advantage. You should win. Let's move on.
But it is very, very impressive how dominant LAFC are against Colorado at BMO Stadium.
Oh, my goodness.
9 consecutive home wins for LAFC against the Rapids. I mean, can't just gloss over that. That's straight dominance for LAFC. And in those 9 wins, LAFC has outscored the Rapids 26-2. That's
and
lopsided.
Think of how hard
right
it
there.
is, because that's all comps. Think about 7 games in MLS they've played in LAFC's history at BMO against each other in MLS regular season. 7-0.
Wow.
Do people realize how hard that is to do in MLS, a salary cap league, even to dominate on that small sample size like that, which is not that small, really. 7-0, that's unbelievable.
And when you talk to players and coaches, and even us, we always, try to keep those in the past, and you can't.
Sure.
How does that impact this upcoming or the next time they play each other at BMO Stadium? How does that impact that? But I mean, after a while, you're like, why is this happening? How is this happening? So I mean, Colorado has not scored at BMO Stadium since 2021. So that's
amazing.
And
I wouldn't have guessed that
at BMO Stadium the last 6 times.
It's kind of like I wouldn't have guessed it, because they give us so much grief in Colorado in that altitude. It's always a tough. And obviously they've beaten us there several times. It's not like LAFC have been dominant there by any means. It's a tough place to go. And that's going to be
the next time these two meet up. It's going to be in Colorado. It's going to be the last match of the season. So it's going to be decision day. And we know how important that is, with everybody, jockeying for playoff position in real time, which I love decision day. But I always say I wish it was at home, because I know how big it is. So this time it's going to be away. So
True.
We'll see how that goes.
Feels like we've had our fair share of decision days at BMO.
We have
at home,
for sure.
In my mind, at least, maybe I'm kind of.
I feel like this is our only one that's been away. I'm not positive.
I was going to say we've had our fair share at home, to be sure. Well, we're back in action at BMO, as we mentioned. Saturday, FC Dallas. We turned the page quickly. It's the second of those 5 games in 17 days, but it's a matchup that should favor LAFC, despite the fact that FC Dallas is maybe the weirdest team in MLS for this reason.
The weirdest team.
The weirdest team.
It is. I like that. I like that.
They are I don't know how to put this succinctly. They are a disgrace at home. It's not even, you can't say they're just, they're poor at home. They are an absolute, fans should be revolting. Season ticket holders should be begging for refunds bad at home. 1-7-2 at home, and they go on the road. On the road, they're better on the road than LAFC are on the road, frankly. LAFC struggle a bit on the road, right? That's what most teams do. LAFC are dominant at home. Dallas is the exact opposite. They're they're wacky. They're crazy. They're just nutty, because they're 4 wins, 2 losses, and 4 draws on the road. and only have one win at home in 10 matches. Like, that is just almost unheard of.
They don't mind being away from home on this
No,
match.
not at all.
Clearly. They just lost 3 matches in a row at home. So
Yeah,
they definitely don't mind going on the road for this one. I guess that's a plus.
yeah,
That's a
look,
plus for FC Dallas, right, in this one.
yeah, but in fairness, you're not, you don't go to BMO that often. Like, LAFC have the advantage clearly in this matchup. Let's face it. You got to keep focused.
It's definitely an opponent, a game that LAFC need to come in, do their job, come out with the full 3 points, especially at home, come out, without any injuries and move on, because it's another short turnaround even for the next match. It's a midweek game again, the next match. So, yeah, you got to take care of business in these games where you're, the favored team on this match.
Yeah, if you're like an FC Dallas fan who loves listening to LAFC Plus because we cover all of MLS, here's what our view of FC Dallas is. And maybe we're not 100%, but weapons, they can punish you. If you're sloppy, if you're not ready to play, they can punish you. Peter Moose is very good. Lucho Acosta's good, but he's having a rough year. A bit of a rough year, I should say. 5 goals, but only 1 assist for Lucho. So it's not like he's not like, flown right into, or kind of seamlessly transitioned into FC Dallas. And remember, of course, the big money moves between him going to Dallas, Evander going to Cincinnati to kind of replace Lucho. It hasn't been the same for Dallas. Musa, again, very good. Lucho can hurt you at any time, but they give up a lot of goals. They give up cheap goals, honestly. And I think they can be had that way. Their midfield, to me, obviously, if you consider Lucho a midfielder or whatever, he's a classic number 10, really, for me. So I don't really consider. I think their midfield is, certainly we can take advantage of it. Doesn't mean there's nothing guaranteed in MLS, no matter what it looks like on paper. We know that. Montreal gave us fits and had a 2-0 lead against, and they're the worst team on paper in the Eastern Conference. So it can happen. But LAFC, if they come out kind of ready to go and just be sharp, this is, as Mario said, this is a game you got to get 3 points and climb up the table. And
Lucho's that player that can, on any given night, he can look like an MVP because he's done it many times before, and he's that type of player. He's that good, like a classic number 10, like you're saying. But we also know that defense is not the top defense in the league. Only the Galaxy and Sporting KC have conceded more goals than this team in the West. So they got to come up with a plan for Denis Bouanga, who's going to be coming at them, who's feeling himself. He's feeling good. And then also Javido DeRosa, he's got to be feeling good too. He's been creative. He's been playing well. So they got a lot on their hands with this LAFC attack. Yeah,
we'll see a couple of our old buddies, Marco Farfan and Sebastian Ibiago, who are both part of the back line for FC Dallas. So that is where the advantage is for LAFC. If they stay tough defensively, don't make their own mistakes, don't give up easy goals, LAFC should have their chances, should be in good shape for that one. And Dave, it's
with all these games coming up, excuse me, Dave, there's like so many games coming up on the schedule, and they're all so important. And I don't want to look too far ahead, but I'm still gonna go look a little bit ahead. Is LAFC Galaxy is not this Saturday; it's next Saturday. It's already 19th. Coming up. Not this
it's
Saturday,
only barely a week away. So you're right,
like right around the corner, and these are all like short rest games that are all crucial.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it's so jammed in. You're right. Like, you'd want to give that one a little more space, it would seem. Like, you would hope kind of the build up, not even to build up for the fans, which is, would be cool, but let the players kind of get it out of their system in a way, prepare longer maybe for that match, in the sense of don't rush into it. Like, crazy things can happen when you only have a day or two to get ready for any opponent as well. And we know that the Galaxy are going to play their best game of the season against us.
Could they have Pooch back? I know he just returned to training, so
no, I think it'd be a little early. Yeah, I think that would be very early. And to their credit, after we lost to Vancouver, they walloped Vancouver. So I mean, that's the craziness of MLS, as we know, on full view right there, right? Like, we were thinking, okay, Vancouver's underhanded or undermanned, I should say. Like, they're missing a lot of guys, but we're coming off the Club World Cup. How's that going to affect us and them? And they, to their credit, got the 3 points. They did it, but then they just fell on their face against the Galaxy a few days later at Dignity Health Sports Park. Maybe it caught up to them a little bit, in fairness. So, and everybody gives LAFC their best performance of the year, it seems. We know that, and that's part of it. And of course, the Galaxy are going to do that. Galaxy are a bad team, but they'll find a way to play well. So we're going to have to be ready for that one. No doubt about it on short rest because we got a couple of games before then to worry about, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
But I think this is the best thing possible for LAFC, right? Who are trying to climb the table, just have all these games coming at you. I mean, but you got to take advantage, right? That's the key thing. You got to take advantage because it could go the other way too. Whenever you're on short rest, you're trying to rotate guys. Maybe things aren't working out with certain guys, so it could go either way. But having all these games come, at once, it's a good thing to start climbing the table.
You could get cold, you could get hot, though. With these kind of things where maybe a guy gets hot that we're not, maybe we're not used to him performing at that level, or at least maybe putting up stats like that. We're not talking Denis Bouanga. He's always, but I'm saying somebody gets hot, scores 3 goals in 3 or something, carries you through a little stretch. That could be huge. One thing I'll keep an eye out for, and I'm not saying that, we might see it, but it would be interesting. Sergi Palencia is on a yellow card peril, meaning he's got 1 yellow card away from being suspended, have to sit out a game. So is David Martinez. I wonder if those guys, if you could almost build that into their rest, not that they're going to try to go get one, but if they do, then you're okay, obviously this is a rotation time, we need to, it's not the end of the world in a sense that we're going to have to start rotating a little bit anyway in this stretch. That's true. We'll see how that plays out with Palencia maybe and David Martinez that, okay, it's not the end of the world if they unfortunately pick up that 5th yellow where,
right.
Players are starting to get suspended for that now at this time of year. They're starting to add up. And as it turns out, it's only 2 that have, that are close to that for LAFC, which is good. But it'll be interesting how that kind of plays in and what would happen there. Maybe some forced rotation if you get that yellow that you have to sit out. So it kind of will be painful and we wouldn't want it, but we'll be ready for it. Let's go around the rest of MLS, Mario. Some interesting stuff happening. Certainly there's so much we could talk about it for a long time, but this is the plus part of LAFC Plus. We love MLS and covering it and following it. And DC United has decided to move on from Troy Lesesne, their manager. It wasn't working. Let's face it, they're a bad team. 4 wins, 10 losses, 7 draws on the season, leaking goals, allowing 39, tied with the worst goal difference in MLS at -22. The Galaxy's goal difference is better than DC United's. Just let that sink in.
So these 2 Galaxy and DC United face off each other in the next match, which is going to be something to see. 2 of the worst defenses in all of MLS. So we'll see a lot of goals from both sides in that one.
I hate to say it, at this point, I think the Galaxy are playing better than DC. Performance-wise, it hasn't really translated necessarily in a whole lot of wins. And then real tough break. Brandon Vasquez suffering a season-ending knee injury. He was an all-star getting ready for that game at Q2. I mean, that's just a big blow. Not just for the all-star, obviously, but he's out for the season. Huge signing for them. He had been performing pretty well. Some of their other big signings, not so much. So those guys are going to have to pick up the slack. But that really is a big blow for Austin as well. Most importantly, we want him to get better. Hopefully it's not, it's something, you have your surgery or whatever, you sit out the rest of the season and then hopefully you're back to 100%. But some big blows there. So let's go back to DC.
That was very painful to see, though, because it wasn't like a collision, it wasn't like a bang of bodies. You could just see him dribbling, and I think he did like a step over or something. You just see his leg underneath kind of give out, which was kind of
we all know those are the ones that are trouble, right? When nobody touches you, then you go down. Any sport, any kind of activity like that, you see a guy go down in pain. You see a player in any sport, NWSL, MLS, any soccer, they go down without being touched. It's not usually good. Let's face it. That's not.
He was having a great season. Nine goals on the year. Selected to the All-Star game. Was playing well in the Open Cup run that they were on. So it's sad to see that always.
Yeah, the game being canceled against, postponed, I should say, against Austin. We had done our work and gotten ready. I'd done a lot of prep work on Brandon Vasquez before that match. He's having a great year. You're right. And then we won't likely see him in that match, of course, because the reports are, I don't even know if it's official, but he's probably going to be out for the rest of the year. So I'm sure we won't see him in that matchup coming up later in the season. We do have some other MLS action to talk about. Some great games, Mario. Some really good games on the schedule here. I'm going to let you choose first. Give me your main game. I wrote down what I think you're going to say here in this one, but I think I'll be
Another
right.
episode of the Hell is Real
That's
Derby.
right.
I mean, Cincinnati, Columbus Crew, and with both teams, playing well, both are in the top 4 spots. This might be the game of the weekend for me. I'm thinking this one has a really good chance of that. Cincinnati at the top of the Porterville race. Columbus is always on. We know Columbus is always going to be towards the top of the they're always so that is hot but one of the most entertaining and one of my favorite guys to watch other than the black and gold players, Evander. Evander's just killing it, doing his thing. And who else is actually helping out there is Kai Kamara. Kai Kamara is into the starting lineup with Evander and Danke. So that's dangerous right there for anybody to face that team. I like the way FC Cincinnati is playing right now. And sure enough, right there at the top of the East.
Yeah, I like that move by Cincinnati to put Kai in there because he's a guy he knows his role. Kevin Denke is the big signing. He's expected to score a lot of goals. You want to get him hot. And Kai is perfectly willing to do that, to help out, to do that. Like, of course he wants to score. I mean, he's a professional
they're helping
footballer.
each other out,
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, Kai Kamara doesn't mind if he doesn't get 10 goals. He just wants the team to, at this point, he's all team, let's just win. He's that kind of guy anyway, And again, not that he's not, more than capable of scoring if they need him to, but he's not like necessarily, I got to get my 10 or 15, of course. Like he's just all about the team right now. And it's perfect for Cincinnati to have. I think it's better for them to play those two guys up front too, by the way, just tactically. And then with Evander, that almost creates more space for Evander to just, he's so good. It just gives me shivers. He's so good. That goal he scored. Did you see that? Like that ball to the back post, just perfectly hit. Just no keeper in the world is going to stop it. It's just perfect. As soon as it leaves his foot,
rising every game. Yeah.
As soon as it leaves his foot, it's a perfect goal, and it's just that's who Evander is. There's no doubt. I one time kind of said it, and I meant it, but people thought I was nuts. There was a time when the Brazilian national team is not the most flaring, they're not Ronaldinho and Kaká anymore, right? They're workmanlike. They have a team that's more built to just, we're going to shut you down and we're going to win 1-0 or obviously if Neymar is healthy, which is not, not a guarantee, he can do magical things.
Yeah.
He can do magical things. And they got players who can, but I actually thought Evander could help the Brazilian national team. Now, again, most people would hear this right now and be like, oh, that's insane. Well, no, I really do.
He's making a case for it now, kind of,
Yeah, I mean, he adds something that could really open up that team offensively, and just make all those guys even better. Like, they're all great players. Don't get me wrong. It's not like Brazil's struggling, but they need a little something like that. I think they become almost too workmanlike and too kind of methodical, just knowing they have a lot of defensive talent and enough offensive talent that they can figure it out, just by bludgeoning you with it. But I think Evander could really unlock a lot of stuff for that. Now, it'll likely never happen, sadly, but I'll tell you, he is that good in my estimation. I think it's a great choice, though, for the game.
And Columbus also have Diego Rossi, who's playing really well this season.
Who?
Well, 10 goals.
Who's he?
Diego Rossi, 10 goals, 3 assists on the season. So, Hell is Real is going to be, it's not going to disappoint this weekend. So make sure everybody tune into that one.
Yeah, I'm trying not to be upset about it, but boy, I'd love to have Diego Rossi never have left LAFC, let's face it. But, again, that's world football, and good for him, and that stuff does happen. Certainly, we're not going to hold anybody back. My game is Inter Miami Nashville. And again, we always talk about it, lest you just go, oh, of course, Lionel Messi. No. This is about Nashville for this match. 2 reasons. A, they're red hot and they're great.
Oh, yeah.
They're amazing. BJ Callahan, what a job he's done. Again, that's another situation where the previous manager had kind of taken them as far as he could, in terms of the longer-term manager, Gary Smith. Great manager. I mean, there's no question he's got the great resume. He's an awesome manager. But it was a different style, and he took them about where he could take them in terms of how that team and that trajectory was going as an organization. Now you bring in a new manager, different stuff, and wow, is it working? And they are just so dynamic. Surridge, obviously a good player, but he's really playing well now. And Hani Mukhtar, we've never doubted his talent or anything. You do have Walker Zimmerman getting back to. They have a lot of talent all over the place, but they're just very workmanlike. They're very tough, and they have skill. And Mario, I think it's about how they fare against Inter Miami, because I still think Inter Miami is the best team in the East.
Yeah.
Probably the best team in MLS. They've only lost 3 matches, this
Could be
season.
getting even better.
Getting hotter, yeah. And I think the Club World Cup did not hurt them, as it appears, that by any means. So
Mascherano is really proud of the way his group performed in that FIFA Club World Cup, and rightfully so. They got out of the group.
He should be proud of how he performed, too. We talked about it. Some really good adjustments, he was
really talking about how if they played like that in the FIFA Club World Cup, that they need to get back to business in the MLS, and they should really make a good run in MLS as well. And they just came off of a 2-1 win over New England. Messi, of course, with 2 more goals. But Miami's on that congested schedule, just like LAFC, where it's like 2 games, a week. Yeah, Saturday, Wednesday, and they got some tough games coming up. They got like 2 games coming up with FC Cincinnati, New York Red Bull, Nashville. Like it's tough for them.
Yeah, they're deeper than people give them credit for, though. Like in terms of. I think people kind of just poo-poo their roster, meaning it's Messi and friends and that's it. Like they're deeper than people give them credit for, but they're also older.
Coming off the bench, yeah.
They are older, that's just going to add up, right? So yeah, they have some good players coming off the bench, but Messi, Busquets, they're older. So it is going to add up no matter how good your bench. So it does. I think the schedule will actually affect Inter Miami more than it would affect the LAFC, let's say.
Good
Even
point.
though, LAFC is very deep, but they're also a little younger too in key spots with that depth, in terms of your starters aren't 38 and 30, and 37 and 38. A couple of them, Hugo Lloris obviously is an exception, but so what? He's a keeper. He can play for at the highest level for, several more years if he wants. But so, I think it might affect, but I this is for me a game about Nashville and how they react to the best team in the East. Doesn't mean they can't beat them going on the road in Inter Miami. They certainly could, and Inter Miami's going to have to be careful, but it's almost like I know Inter Miami's going to play well. They'll be up for it. I want to see how Nashville responds because I think they could be really, really deadly in the playoffs, Nashville. They're
Nashville's
kind of that
so
team.
Hot. 4 wins in a row for Nashville. I think they're the hottest team in MLS right now, so it's going to be a good matchup. We have some really good games this weekend in MLS, really good games.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Of course, ours is a good one as well because you got to put away the 3 points no matter what at home. It's FC Dallas. Again, a team that's great on the road, frankly, not just good. They have a great road record, ironically, and a terrible home record. So let's make them comfortable and pretend we're in Dallas, minus the horrible weather possibilities, where they, we don't want to get that heat and that humidity or whatever. So, but again, FC Dallas. Weapons we talked about. We got to be prepared. I think we will be, Mario. I think we're going to get another victory coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, much needed victory. Got to keep that winning rolling. Got to stack up those points and 3 points, right? You don't want to pick up too many draws at home. You want to make sure that you're picking up the full 3 points. And with LAFC behind, a little bit on the game amount of games played. They got a lot of games in hand. It's like 2 or 3 now. Compared to the rest of the West. So now's a good chance to start racking up these points. And there's a lot of home games here in this month, too, which is great for LAFC.
Yeah, I would be remiss, too, if we didn't talk a little bit about that upcoming Wednesday matchup at Minnesota. That's going to be, before we do another of these podcasts, we'll be talking about that one on the next podcast. That'll be the Wednesday night, right before this, the next week's podcast, episode 64. That's a tough game in Minnesota. Game. I mean, always tough at Allianz Field. They've got great crowds, but more importantly, they are playing really well. So dangerous, that team. So it's a tough stretch here, not just based on the number of games, but Minnesota, one of the better teams in MLS right now. So, we've got our hands full this week, no doubt. Take care of business at home Saturday. Laser focus immediately after that, hopefully, right to Minnesota, and that'll be another tough game. But again, that's a team that you can get on their home turf. They're a very dangerous team on the road at times. But Mario, I think we could be in for a good run here. And if we could get that 3 point, that's a big 6-pointer against Minnesota. coming up on next Wednesday, like a week.
We tend to be saying that about every single game here. It's another big
That's a good
3 points,
point.
another big because after that Minnesota game is the Galaxy game, so it's another
gosh.
big game. So yeah,
Minnesota's
rotation,
very tough.
and lineup depth of the lineup is going to be key for this stretch. Everybody's got to be ready when their number is called. That's so true right now for LAFC.
I mean, depending on how the weekend goes, you're 8 points behind Minnesota right now. Yeah, you got a couple of games in hand, no doubt. You could definitely, but depending on the weekend, let's just presume that the weekend goes with both the same. You're 8 points back. That is a 6-pointer when you face them coming up on Wednesday, because you don't want to drop that one and be 11 points down against I don't care how many games you got in hand. That's a long way to go. So that is a massive game, and they'll be ready for that, no doubt about it. The Loons are always ready to play LAFC too.
Oh, yeah.
They always seem to give us fits, whether we beat them or not. So all good stuff coming up. LAFC hosting Dallas Saturday. Airtime for the pregame. You can hear my radio call. Mario's, doing a lot of stuff in the broadcast, of course, the pregame stuff. He always handles some great interviews in the postgame, hopefully with a winner, like at least a point, but great stuff after postgame. So listen up for the pregame, 7 o'clock Pacific on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app. Mario, great stuff as always, brother. Take us out of here at episode 63. It flew by.
It did fly by. Another episode of LAFC Plus, episode number 63. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Even Hello Kitty is impressed with that one. It was so cool to get this too. This is so cool. Though, just the way they made it, it's the details is awesome. Anyway,
don't spill anything on that. All right. Just do me that,
Yeah, for sure. Catch us on the pregame show this Saturday, 7 p.m. on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app. That's the home of LAFC, the radio home of LAFC, of course. We'll catch you at BMO Stadium as well. Go LAFC, go black and gold. That's Dave Denholm. I'm Mario Ruiz. Peace.